everyone, and welcome back to Art with Miss Choate. So today we have another edition of Art with Miss Choate plus Storytime with Miss Nuccia. So just like we did on Tuesday and the week previously, today not only do you get to have art, you also get to have a story read to you by the world's best children's librarian, my mom, Miss Nuccia. So today she's reading a story about monsters. So we're going to do a drawing about monsters. So you're going to be able to create your own. I'm going to give you some ideas, but I want to see what you can make. And once you make your own monster, do it in secret. Don't let your partner see if you're doing it with your mom or your dad or a sibling. Don't let them see. And then you're going to give them directions to how to make your monster. We've done things similar to this in the past, but this one's really fun because you can make a silly monster, you can make a really scary monster. That's up to you, and then you're gonna make your family member draw it. And as well as you can tell them how to do it is how well they're gonna turn out similar, or maybe it'll turn out really differently. Now, I do wanna challenge some of my older students watching. If you feel up for the challenge, I want you to write the directions and give that written direction to somebody. And the way this is really cool is you could write it up in an email and send it to a friend, and they can draw it wherever they're quarantined. You could text it, you can Snapchat it, you can whatever, I don't know. All those other platforms, you can send it to a friend that's not with you. That's why this art is so cool, and it brings people together even when we're not in the same house or the same room or even the same country. You could send it to somebody. I have family in Canada and other places. So you could send it to somebody who's far away from you and have this art moment together. So I'll show you an example of what you can do, but I do want to see what kind of monsters you can make. So let's get started. So here we have my first example of one of my favorite cute little monsters. A couple of things to keep in mind when you're drawing your monsters. If you're drawing a baby monster, they have a nice big head compared to their bodies, and their eyes are lower on their face than, so we wouldn't put them up high, we'd put them down lower, just like this. Now we're gonna have two pieces to this. Remember, I told you, I want you to be challenged. If you are doing this and you are older, or you wanna practice drawing skills, or you wanna be able to do this with somebody who's not with you, I want you to write out your direction. So for this, I would say you draw the head with a pencil. The head is a circle the size of your fist. And you're gonna try to be as descriptive as possible. Now, is it a circle completely? No, it's kind of flat on the bottom. So I should have said it has an arch and it's flat on the bottom for the head the size of your fist. Draw horns on the top that are curved but pointy at the end. We could have also said they're not directly in the center of the head, they come off to the side. So we get the idea of how to be descriptive with our directions. Now, we can also plan your monster as well. You could think about, what kind of nose do you want? What kind of head, ears, eyes, body, leg, maybe accessories? What are they wearing? Do they have texture? What's their character? Is it based on something? So you can go ahead and think about the planning, and we can get started. So I'll show you an example of how to make a monster. We'll talk about some ideas, and then I want to see what you make. Now, if you want to copy the one I do first, that's totally fine, and then you create your own, we can totally do it that way as well. So the first thing I'd recommend is to do this in pencil. We're going to start by lightly drawing a circle. Now remember what I said, the bigger the head, the more it looks like a baby. And I know I got a lot of requests recently from some of my students for baby animals, so we're gonna do a baby monster. So we're gonna draw that circle very lightly. Remember, just like the other day, it doesn't have to be a defined circle because we're gonna go back in Sharpie or a marker and we're gonna define it. Now we're gonna draw its body. And remember, if it's a baby, its body should be quite a bit smaller than its head. So we don't wanna go too big with this body. We'll just make it flat. And now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna make the feet. They're gonna come right off and go up. Same thing here, slightly off, up, and they're gonna connect right here for that belly. And we're gonna do some back legs here. They're just kind of round backward C It's like it's sitting down on its butt. And now we can divide its face up. Now you don't have to do this step if you're good at eyeballing. I didn't do this the other day. Remember, I said baby's eyes should be down lower, so we're not going to do half. We're going to go even lower. It's going to look even cuter. And we're going to put its eyeball right on the bottom of that line. Remember, you can do it a couple of times. And its nose will be right on that cross. And depending on how you do its eyes and its face is going to depend on its mood or how you're making it feel. You can make it be a little concerned, a little confused. Maybe it has a little tooth sticking out. It doesn't know how it got here on your page. Maybe we can make one eyebrow higher than the other. And since we're doing a monster, maybe we can add, I forget what these are called on like a dinosaur, but these little like spikes. And remember, when it's further away from you, it's smaller, so these should be smaller as it goes down the crown of his head. And just like the other one, I liked those horns. I'm gonna put them off to the side, straight up, slightly pointy. Remember, yours doesn't have to look like mine. You could decide that you just want to create your own monster, or maybe you take elements of this one and turn it into your own. But remember, I want these to be done in secret, so that way whoever you decide to do this with doesn't know. And if you're one of my students and you decide to do it with another student, that would be great, but we better not do this one. So this is just an idea. And now I'm going to give it a tail. I'm going to have it come from above that back leg and from right about here. And I'm going to have it curl. And I want it a little thicker there. So now I can go ahead with my marker. Oh, I forgot, maybe have something, you know how a lot of these kind of like dinosaur-ish monsters have those lines on their chest. Or so now we'll go ahead with our marker. And I'm going to keep the center of my eyes white. And remember, if you did one eye accidentally bigger than the other, just try to even them out. And maybe that's the purpose of your monster. It's a silly monster. It doesn't have to be a perfect monster. Go ahead and do its nose. Maybe a couple of lines up its nose, eyebrows. And we're just going ahead and fixing it up, choosing the right line. Make sure we're not drawing things that shouldn't be included. Take your time, be decisive on the marker part. Be very decisive. We can even put some lines on his horns. You can add all sorts of detail here. Remember, you can also give its face some shape. I know we did it a circle, but I can dip it in towards the eyes, make it look like it has some round cheeks. And if you make a mistake with your pen, you can just go ahead, make a slightly thicker line there. And I can do the same thing on the other side to make it look purposeful. drawing the teeth. Now we come to the body. We're just giving it a nice defined shape. Give it little claws. And we can go ahead and give some stripes in the tail. And remember, if you want the tail to look round, you can curve those lines. And there we go. We got our little monster. We can erase those pencil marks. Remember, you can always do a test. Make sure you're drawing light enough before you draw. And I just realized my body ends kind of high, so I could have maybe fixed that. I didn't realize it until I erased one of my lines. But that's okay. There we go. We got our little monster. So if you go ahead and make your version of your monster and send it to a friend or read it to a friend, the instructions, just as a reminder. We can also add color just like I did to this one. Your instructions can look like this, or you can just verbally tell them what your monster looks like. So if you were to describe this one, you could say the steps that we just went through to get to this point. So I hope you had fun planning out your monster, then drawing your monster in all the different ways you can. So I want to see what your monster looked like. And then I hope you went ahead and did the written directions or verbal directions. Now I did realize after that even if you aren't in the same area and you don't want to write it, you could just call them on the phone and tell them what the directions are. You could Zoom with them and then see them drawing it and then compare. So there are so many different options for doing this with people that aren't with you. That could be a total blast. So I hope you had fun. I hope you had fun planning, then drawing, and then creating your directions. So I'd love to see how they turn out, and I'm willing to be somebody's partner, so pick me. But I hope you guys had fun. I have a blast with this, and so I want to see what kind of silly little monsters, cute little monsters you guys made. And remember, go check out my mom's story time with Miss Nuccia, where she's reading a story by Mo Willems about monsters. So I hope you guys have a great day. Bye. Remember, like, subscribe, comment. You guys know that by now. I really want to get this out there to everyone. I want everyone to be making art during quarantine. I mean, of course, I'm an art teacher. Why wouldn't I want that? So I hope you guys have a great day, and see you tomorrow for Art with Miss Choate, 9 a.m. Bye.